Hey folks, how y'all doing? Well, we've got another hot day here in New York City. If you hear something that sounds like a helicopter, that's my fan. Well, at 12:32 p.m. on Wednesday, the sun will go into the third and last decan of Leo. And that brings us to the Father and Son card. Now, one thing before we go into that, we also have at 1:37 p.m. a uh, total annular eclipse, which will be on an hour and 5 minutes after that, a little bit after 1:37. This is an important eclipse because, well, it's a total eclipse. Um, it's also one in a series of eventually fading eclipses, which I will get into. But first, let's talk about father and son. Father and son is, well, what is the role? Who is really the leader in father and son? We can see that the son is, pretty large size actually. And maybe the son is just playing around because the son kind of knows that it's the leader. I mean, instinctively. And father and son are really both the same. So there's a kind of complication in this because ordinarily we think of people who are in authority, because this is what this card really is about, is, well, who's the leader and then who's the person who is actually guiding. And so this is something that develops in time. We can begin to understand that our roles are not separate from each other, just like father and son. So I'm going to do a little bit of sumi. I love to do the sumi. And I'm going to begin with really pops here. This really was designed from a spontaneous carving. It is not, well, I'm going to do father and son. And I do have a son, but I did this before he was born. So it was something that came out of the carving, out of the stone. So here we go. Father and son. Yes, he's holding the child, but the child is really guiding. And there's a play going on, just like between a lion and a cub. Play. We learn through this interaction of play, and that's what Leo, because we're in Leo, Leo's about a kind of having fun. It's interaction, and they even say that maybe the first theater came between the parent and child, particularly the mother and the child. That was the first drama and theater and expression that went on. Now let's talk about the eclipse that's coming up. Okay, this is how it's going to look if you're in Washington D.C. The sun and the moon are high above here like this, and then we have now we don't have a close conjunction with any of the planets, but let's look at some of the planets, how they're interacting. We see that Mercury and Jupiter are opposite Pluto. And this is something that I think is going on right now with a lot of people. The power of words, the triggering of energies that come out when we say something. And if we inappropriately use words, if we inappropriately use mantras, then we might set off a kind of reaction that we're not even aware of, as explosive as any kind of bomb. Like for instance, the so-called N-word. What is the appropriate use for it? And what is its history? What is the vibration when it's used, especially by the wrong people and in the wrong situation? So this is one thing. So I also like the idea that Pluto and Mercury, and Pluto opposite Jupiter, is a scientific configuration, because the mind delves into some of the inner workings of life and the functionings and the transformation of things. Now, one thing about eclipses is the moon is very slowly, very gradually moving away from the sun, from the earth, um, which means that the further it moves away, the less we're going to have full total eclipses. We're going to have more annular eclipses where the sun is blocked out in the center, but not so completely. This is not going to be soon, but this is what's gradually happening. So the days that we have total eclipses without the annular, without the ring around them, are going to be fewer. What does that mean? Is the moon is the mother? Does that mean mommy's going somewhere finally, y'all? I don't know. So anyway, here we are. I'm going to see in about 10 degrees when we're going to go into the strength card, which is the first card of Virgo. And enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Don't miss a beat. See you.